bed to which I had so long been bound. What I saw about me, none else saw.
Well, let's see.
21st. No, he's talking about where the construction is.
Oh, God.
25th.
It's not worth your try. You're at.
Is this? No.
No. It's further, way further. It's down.
Past Dr. Barrero's.
25th.
Yeah, but just.
10 to 21.
Yes, but it's just not worth your time to even try.
Well, you can go down 25th and then turn and go back.
Yeah, but that's eventually what I did. I finally got my way past it and come back.
See how I enjoyed the computer club?
Because
Is that me?
your license plates is in your place.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Oh, finally. I don't know why it decided it wasn't going to work for a moment there, but it is now working.
And you also need to decline the conversion rate.
Yes.
Bronco
Yes.
yesterday. I declined it and I canceled the.
Are you pushing the right button to
Yes.
decline it?
That's happened to me. I just moved down.
I'll
Yeah.
go in lay and try the Banamex one for the Capital One.
That's great.
So,
We've got a new bank in town too,
yeah.
BBVA.
Yeah.
That's the one in the behind.
I had an account there. Well, I had an account in the US too, but they didn't honor it down here for the,
Good morning, Jim.
service.
Oh,
We are just getting started here. We're in a little bit of a different setup.
From Banamex,
All right.
from BBVA.
Oh yeah. Some of you guys are at the Tequilas.
Yeah. Yeah, we got quite a big group of people at Tequilas, and you are the only one online right now in the virtual meeting.
Really? Holy smokes.
Oh, they're not there.
I wonder if I'll be able to hear everybody. I hope so.
I'm still kind of setting things up, but I have pushed the button. This is the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions, and we meet each week
what was the guy's name?
to
The guy's name.
talk about tech topics and try and help each other out, share news and stories of
I don't know.
what we've run into over the last week. And I'm here in Tequilas, but we should start this meeting by saying that I will not be here next week. So next week will have to be a virtual meeting as well, because I got to go back to work.
You had
Oh,
COVID?
no. You know what that is?
Yep.
It's a 4-letter word.
It is. Unless you spell it trabajo.
Yeah,
Back to Phoenix.
What is this word?
That's right.
I didn't want to say anything in front of your mother.
Oh,
Was she sick?
Deceased.
she's just recovering from cancer.
Debbie was
No.
Yeah. This whole year's plan has just changed because of that. In fact,
I noticed her
no,
these days.
yeah,
he almost.
she's really strong. She's doing really well, but she had over the summer she had a surprise major cancer. Here, turn off my microphone there. I think it's Irving.
What were you saying? I missed the.
Oh, just my mom was diagnosed with cancer over the summer. What?
It's coming off TV.
Yeah, it is. It's coming off of Irving's microphone and broadcasting on the TV. It's done now.
How is she?
Well, you're not signed in now.
It could have been mine.
Oh, was it yours?
Could have been.
Okay, it was somebody here. Damn it!
It was her.
It was somebody here.
It was me.
Judy will take responsibility for it, for the rogue microphone.
How is your mother doing?
She's doing well. She's doing real well. All things considered, she's the best case scenario. But it was the worst case scenario over the summer. It was my parents are very positive people. They believe in positive thinking, and we walked into this thing thinking that she was coming out in a day, just a day procedure, like up in the hospital for 10 days.
Ooh.
And she's,
And she has no hair, but
yeah, she
lost her hair.
she lost her hair to chemo, and yeah, it was just so much more than anyone was ready to believe. Even her doctors weren't ready because they'd done all the scans, and so everybody's thinking best case scenario, we'll go in there with a micro probe, we'll be able to pull it out, you'll be done. And I mean, there is this chance we'll get in there and we'll see something we didn't see on the scans, and that's exactly what happened. It was like this just whole area of her abdomen that was two different places in her intestines, and it was just a mess. Just yeah. So, but all things considered, she's doing the best you could possibly do.
Was her care here, Alaska?
It was Alaska. Yeah, she was in Alaska, and that was great. They have in Alaska, they have a cancer center that's dedicated to women. It's run by women for women's cancer. Yeah, we were really fortunate. I mean, okay, that should be small, even though it's a 1 terabyte partition with 600 gigabytes of space.
And that partition, 250 megs, and then that security update will install.
Well, that's odd. I mean, because there's a lot of free space on my partition.
It's in the what's that? The security BitLock partition.
Ah, okay. Well, that would probably
separate partition.
Yeah, because I'm actually not running a Windows that supports BitLocker, so I bet it's not a problem for people that are running Windows Home.
I tried it in 2 computers, and it didn't work, and I'm running the professional on all of them, so I didn't even bother with the other ones.
Yeah.
Upstairs, and it'll update to it and tell me it's not going to work.
So yeah, because Professional supports BitLocker, so if it's BitLocker related, it's probably not affecting the majority of consumers out there. It's probably a real pain in the butt for corporations,
You
though.
want to look at the web.
Yeah.
On it, everybody's complaining about it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Linda.
I found the one that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, so SpaceX and T-Mobile. SpaceX and T-Mobile just launched a whole bunch of satellites, and they're going to have Starlink direct-to-cell service.
Oh, we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I predicted this when iPhone said they put the satellite communication for SOS into their phone. I knew they were moving this direction.
Okay, so they launched it on January 2nd from Vandenberg Air Force Base, and they launched 9 rocket launches, 21 Starlink satellites.
But I think what has all the control of the down below. So when you connect your own router up, there's nothing stopping the router from SpaceX from blocking that router. If it saw traffic that it didn't like coming out of that port, it could easily just block that port. It could block anything down that chain, and the reverse is not true. If you're all the way at the end, you have no inkling of what's happening up above you, because of the way firewalls work. And so you're able to get out on the internet, but you're not able to, now am I saying this in reverse? No, this is true.
Are you positive?
Oh my gosh, what have I done? I think I've described the whole thing in reverse. Haven't I? Yes.
But anyway, that's what the IPTV service told me to tell them. That's what some of them done, and now we're not having any problems. Just
Well-
putting it on a separate router.
Well, that's great.
Don't put it right onto the Starlink modem.
Oh, are you able to DMZ that router? Because maybe that's the key.
I don't know.
Mm. Okay, well, you probably would know if that's what you had to do, and it doesn't sound like you had to do that.
The biggest problem here has been not keeping either Telcel or Mega Cable because they want to take over. And that's why he had to get that splitter box because Mega Cable.
Well, I think you're referring to that
And not
when you've got two different wireless networks. I think you're talking about, and so there's always going to be a default wireless. Yeah.
everything.
To me, it seems logical that Starlink is just a service.
Yeah.
Keep Starlink secondary thing to be not part of their
Well, absolutely. And I'll tell you something that I speculate on. Except for experience. I think Apple wants to get into this. I think this by starting is simply to carry the possibility of Apple being in negotiations with Apple to provide a phone service that will be Apple phone on any network except for whoever Apple has contracted with. Similar to what they did with the credit card, right? Where yeah, it's a Goldman Sachs card, but you don't deal with Gold, you deal with Apple. It's an Apple card running on top of their infrastructure. I believe that we will see this happen in the next few years. But speculation. I just see it's possible. We've got all the hardware there. We've got all the technology in place. It's a matter of us this must in solidifying that path forward for their customers. And Apple's going to be mobile with all these services to present their own. To me, it's no different than Mint Mobile or Consumer Cellular. These services don't actually hardware. They're contracts on can provide you a service.
Okay, so I got Mint Mobile, $200 a year, unlimited. But, okay, I couldn't come down. They charge a lot of money for you to have it down here in Mexico, which is fine. So I just went and got a card and brought another phone down and put it in. But they're also have some issues because a lot of times you're talking on the phone and they knock you off.
Yeah,
So
connect contracts.
Happens with AT&T.
yeah,
What it also happens on any service that you're not connected to the genuine service and you've been your connect contract. And we've seen it in different venues where like the Telcel service on AT&T in Alaska is a low priority. All these other AT&T customers are getting their phone calls through and our Telcels are not getting anything. It'd be the sheer amount of just traffic in Anchorage during the summer. Yeah, Irving.
it gets knocked off down here.
Yeah.
Also, it's an example of that. I was a young man, and I had one line head of clients every Sunday for about 7-8 years. Along came a company and sold me the same ad by about half of the price.
Yeah, exactly. And then they negotiated with the newspaper over the ad.
They put a bulk.
Yep.
And they resold it at a huge discount. So I had, the ad never stopped, but my cost went down there.
Yeah, I see this as the future. Ever since Apple started putting together hardware that would allow them to send messages through a satellite with no phone carrier, I saw this vision of where we're going with this. And I bet it's going to be SpaceX against whatever Apple cobbles together to compete against them. And cobble's not a fair word. It implies instability, and Apple will definitely do it in a stable way, I'm sure, just like using Goldman Sachs. Say that again?
What about Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon's in a good position as well. I don't know if you've paid attention, but a few years back, they put together this Whisper net with their equipment. And so they've got just these just wispy little networks hanging out on the sides of all your Amazon products. Your Alexas, your Rings, your Euros, all are creating this kind of ad hoc mesh network across the United States that helps connect devices. And I can see Amazon getting into the same thing. I don't think Apple will do it unless it can give a superior product. But in their favor is that telephone service has gotten really lousy. I mean, as technology has gotten better and cheaper, it's turned into two tin cans you're listening to sometimes. You're still getting disconnected.
On your call is
Yeah.
normal?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It's not necessarily normal for any particular service. Like any given call could be a high or low quality, but there's so many things involved in that call. It doesn't have to be technical. It could very well be your carrier connect contract. It could be that the consumer cellular, even when you buy extra to come down here, has the lowest priority in that pool because of the agreement they made with consumer cellular to bring service down through Mexico, if that makes sense.
My AT&T service out of the United States, down here, the calls are, they go through, but sometimes they can't hear me very well, or it's very echoey. The quality of the call is not very good.
Right.
The best thing for me to use, and if I walk outside my house, the call seems to be a little bit better. But the best thing for me to use for video calling or anything is Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
It's better than WhatsApp. It's better than anything. It's unbelievable. The quality of the picture and the sound. It's awesome. It connects with anybody that's on Facebook Messenger. I have friends that are not on Facebook, but they have the Messenger service. And they can do that. You know, they can have a Messenger account without being on the public social network.
So we use WhatsApp in the same respect. We use WhatsApp for all our telephone calls. Yeah.
The other problem is not getting attachments. It just goes round, the little thing goes round and round and then never loads. Or when you're sending out, it says can't.
So these are more I line to a cell line. They couldn't do anything about it. They didn't even know. Is a good suggestion. But the things that you're concerned about is that if you're not here, you're going to have equipment on and ready to go. You're going to have your Wi-Fi network going, your internet service going, and your printer going. The simple act of being able to print something out. I think if you wanted to pursue this kind of idea, there are certain printers that have like a policy page that prints out when they turn on. So, for example, they lose power, and when they get powered back on, one of the things they're set to is printing out a page. And so you might be able to achieve that with a particular model, maybe not the model you have, but there are models out there that I know do this, that when they first get powered on, they can be set up so that they'll print a test page right when it first turns on. And if that's the case, then you could do something crazy like put a timer on the outlet and just have it turn itself off and on at periodic times throughout the month.
You know, by the time you buy the timer, replace everything, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's more aggravation than it's worth.
This is why I say just learn to not need to print.
But Paul's suggestion was can you remotely print to Mexico?
Well,
Yes,
you
you
can, but you'd have to maintain an internet connection, maintain a Wi-Fi connection, and keep your printer plugged in and on, ready to go the whole time you're not here.
Yes, yeah,
Which all of those are things that I don't recommend you worrying about. I mean, it makes sense if you've got security on your
Yeah.
place here,
Yeah,
and
we
so
leave
you,
Wi-Fi and everything on at
Yeah.
home.
yeah, and so if you're maintaining that in Canada, then it'd just be another step to be able to like VPN into your network at home and send it a print job if your printer's sitting there on.
My recommendation is here, do not leave your home with the electric.
Yeah.
on.
Oh, with the
Or
off.
on, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
on.
Oh, we get tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. It's San Carlos IT advice is if you're going to leave for even more than just a couple of days, I still go around and unplug everything.
Fridge?
No, I leave my refrigerator on.
You can't unplug the fridge.
In Mexico
I do
seem to
leave
be
mine on.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I leave mine on too.
If the fridge
Yeah.
is built in Mexico, it seems to handle
Yeah,
that.
Well,
I have a
I don't know that I
Samsung
would-
fridge that was built
I-
in Mexico and it's been fine.
I just look at it like this. Those kinds of devices typically survive power fluctuations and
Same with microwave.
you're
Yeah.
well, and the microwave's questionable too because it's got a little computer that can get zapped as well off of
It's
it.
been fine,
But
she said.
but things like satellite dishes and
Yeah.
printers and these solid
Unplug,
state
just unplug
devices.
it.
I just turn off the breakers.
Yeah.
It's much easier than
I make
unplugging.
sure I turn off the water.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's another one, yeah.
4 months worth of flood.
Well, that
Bill.
that's really the thing is that I think that you get all the protection gear, you get the you get the battery backups and the surge protectors, you make sure that your house is wired correctly, and then that to me represents pulling all that stuff is to protect you when you don't have control over the situation. When the surge just comes and you don't have to,
And if
you have no control over the situation when you're gone except to just turn everything off, and I prefer that, and that's what I recommend to people is
So when
just
you're here, what protection do you have against it?
well, then you've got the battery backup, you've got the surge protector, you've got right.
Here to deal with it.
That's right, but you leave to go to Tucson for a weekend, and we have some summer storm where lightning's cast down and the transformer outside blew. If you had been here, you would have unplugged all your stuff as lightning was showering around you, but you can't because you left it all on and you went to Tucson for the weekend.
So it doesn't help just to turn the breakers off?
Oh, it does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now the only thing that I don't like about the breakers on, breaker off
You get a
thing,
surge when you.
you create your own surge. When you turn everything on, it's not a gentle on. It's
Yeah.
everything's on.
Yeah, well.
And so that I think that's a consideration. That's something to be concerned about. With the voltage regulators, I always recommended the ones that are built in Mexico. But I also recommend putting a surge protector after it. You plug the regulator into the wall and the surge protector into the regulator, because every time the regulator does its job, it creates a natural surge through your equipment.
The other thing, you have to replace your surge protectors every
Mhm.
2 years too.
That's
because
right.
Every surge makes them a little less.
Well, and the frustrating thing is we don't build surge protectors at a quality that allows us to see what level they're at.
Yeah.
So what most surge protectors have is a little idiot light on it. It's kind of like the check oil light. Like by the time you're looking at it, it's too late. That idiot light, when it burns out, you know it's time to replace the surge protector. But while it's still lit, you don't know how much protection's still left in that device. So if you're really concerned about surges in a place like this, you should change them regularly, because you don't know if the last time we had a surge wiped out 90% of the protection in that device. And it might say you're protected, but you only got 10% of the protection left in it.
And years ago, there was a guy in town that installed
Mm-hmm.
There was.
Yeah, Big Dawn.
Big Dawn.
Yeah.
And I still have Big Dawns, but whether it works or not, I don't know.
Well, you'll know if you get hit by lightning.
I know. But that's the only way I'm gonna know.
I've got the same
Isn't
on
it
my
comforting?
post. But you know, he got into that whole business because his house caught on fire
Yeah.
from getting
Yeah.
hit by lightning, and nothing nothing broke the current.
And nobody took over from him either, did they?
No. In fact, it was a design device.
By
Yeah,
him.
it was his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was his device.
So put in capacitor boxes on your electric lines, which I have put in my house. It saves you money on any kind of a motor. Because when a motor starts is when it needs more power, and that usually comes off your CFE bill. Well, turn on a motor with a capacitor box, that power comes from your capacitor. And it also levels out your current in your house. I've got one on the both circuits. They work
So you put it on the breaker box?
right off. Do it. The breaker box, and it actually goes to the capacitor first, and then into your breaker box.
I think I
So-
have one of those.
So I'm not sure about saving like surges, right? Because the idea is that you've charged up this
Capacitor.
yeah
So
this
brownouts,
and then when you go to do something like start the water pump or start the air conditioner, there isn't a surge, a flow of current that goes into that device. It all comes from the capacitor box,
right.
and so the rest of your network stays stable.
Cut your power usage down.
I don't understand how that works.
Because instead of having your capacitor box,
Yeah, I still don't see how that works because something has to charge the capacitor box and keep it up there. It's kind of like filling up a water reservoir, right?
you're not using it all the time, so it's just there until you use it. When you turn on a motor, there's that extra draw of current.
Yeah, I gotta look into it. I've heard about these capacitor boxes for a long time, and I can see the argument for stabilizing your electric network with less surges by using such a device. But I don't understand how that uses less electricity.
It does.
Well, I hear you.
My-
Well, you got solar panels. You shouldn't have much of a bill to begin with.
No wonder you
Bill, look.
your current, because my solar, I'm not a battery.
Right.
I don't have batteries. So
Right,
I'm
right.
still drawing from
Yep. I'm in the same.
CFE and selling back to CFE.
Yep. Hey, have you seen in the state? I'm sorry, this is a side topic, but that's the way this club works. Damn it.
That's right.
Have you seen that there's this all these articles coming out in the United States of different electric infrastructure companies lowering their deal, renegotiating these solar contracts with people because they don't have enough money coming in to build up their infrastructure anymore. And so people that are like expecting to not be getting an electric bill are starting to get electric bills again after installing these solar panels.
When they raise their prices, your electric panels, your solar panels are only good for as many kilowatts as you decide to put in.
But they're renegotiating the terms of selling them back to. In fact, there are some places with electricity.
I read that.
Yeah.
In Mexico, they don't sell them back. You have a choice. You did have a choice when I put in mine to sell it back or trade kilowatt per kilowatt. And that's what I do. My system isn't big enough to run my whole house all year.
Well, I'm sorry. I just look at that as the same. Like I get the credits. Like I think that's what you're talking about. Is you generate credits that you use throughout the year.
Yeah, I only
Yeah.
pay 3 electric bills in a year. All the other bills are under 127 days.
I don't mean to brag. We had one bill that was an outrageous $45.
Oh my God.
The rest are $6 a month.
Are you getting sick yet of all this? We are on a commercial rate at Loma Del Mar.
What's that like?
Horrible. We don't get a break during the summer at all. It's much higher.
So you pay the same amount for your electricity used regardless. And is that, do you pay the CFE or do you pay Loma Del Mar and Loma Del Mar pays the CFE? So what you're really angry at is your homeowners association.
Well, no, what I'm really angry about is that they voted down putting in a new transformer thing back when the Estates was built. and the other side voted it down, so CFE did not take over and we did not get individual meters. But that was many, many years ago, so I shouldn't be upset now. No, you are.
No, you are. I saw you vote.
I know you-
voted for the aluminum hours.
Yeah, oh, I know, but it lost by one
I can
vote.
tell you this, I had a little one-bedroom condo that I rented out in
I don't know,
Scottsdale.
we don't have it yet.
1 week's AC in Scottsdale was 2
We don't
months
get billed.
AC down here.
Oh God, yeah. No, I can't imagine.
We get billed a
So
month in
expensive. We are reaching the end of this meeting, but I did bring some topics that you guys can read from the document I sent you last night. I will mention them here because I thought you'd find them interesting. The first one on this list is about the washing machine. You guys heard about this? The LG washing machine that was hooked up to this guy's Wi-Fi network. And yeah, because it's a smart appliance, right? And the smart appliance, his router, and later on, if you read through this, you'll find out that the biggest culprit of this was probably his router is misrepresenting the data. But he was monitoring almost 4 gigabytes daily being sent out by his washing machine.
Wow.
Now, they've done a lot of, presented his findings on Twitter, and he had a lot of feedback from other tech people on Twitter, giving him different places to look, and they think they've sorted it out to it's actually not using that much, that it's his ASUS router that is probably misreporting how much data is being used, which is all fine and good. But it does, the article genuinely brings up the this whole concept that we should be aware of the smart appliances. Not only, I mean, do we have smart appliances, we have dumb smart appliances. And there are hacks that are out there to take over these dumb smart appliances and use them in botnets. And so apparently LG, this is an LG, is actually at the center of some hack, already been compromised. Nobody's saying that this guy's washer was compromised, but this whole article is a great introduction to these kinds of concerns about these smart devices that, or Bitcoin money. Like it's not inconceivable to think of 1,000 dishwashers out there mining as a supercomputer Bitcoins for some nefarious program.
And also on one of the news shows, there was a woman who was divorcing her husband who had a tracking device on their car that was in the car. It wasn't something he put on. And she could not disable it because the car was in his name and he was tracking her every move.
Wow.
Yeah.
That washing machine, the article is great. It's Tom's Hardware. If you're a tech person, it's a very well vetted site to be sharing information. And so it really is kind of an opener for people to know what to expect. And consequently, this guy took it off he's like, I don't need it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. What do I need it for? There is apparently some amount of software updates that may come to your washer, but there's just a lot more jokes being made about the LG's laundry learning model out there. They're sharing information. Anyway, I thought it was a funny article. You guys would enjoy.
Actually, it's pretty scary.
Yes, it is.
It's kind of like all you people that use Hey Alexa.
It's funny, like in that it's a really weird smell. Funny. it's that kind of funny.
And who makes LG?
It's a Korean company.
North or south?
Yeah.
That I couldn't speculate. I assume south. Another article I brought with me is radioactive batteries. Have you guys been paying attention? This is new to me. They've come up with this is a Tech Radar publication. It's good to keep in mind that they are a trade magazine for venture capitalists. And so when you read things in a magazine like Tech Radar, keep in mind that kind of press is to gin up information to help with stocks and increase And so they do have genuinely good information, but sometimes they're a bit overhyped. In this, they're talking about manufacturer of a battery that is the size of like a penny. And they've come up with a process using nickel 63 and diamonds to create a radioactive discharge that will, at the moment, I think they said it was 10 million 3 volts and has the potential of lasting 50 years. So I can imagine, and they talked about it in the article as well, is the idea of if they're able to do this, then they could tie a number of these together. Apparently, I didn't know this till I read the article, nickel 63, which is a naturally radioactive material, as it decays, turns into copper. And so the idea is that you will end up with an inert battery afterwards. You'll end up with something that isn't a concern to
For the cost.
maybe you could.
What's the half-life?
Well, they're talking about this being like a 50-year battery.
That will produce.
Yeah, it'll produce electricity. Now, this is different than what we think of as radioactive material. Heat involved in this, or it's at a there's no turbine. There's
analog watches with
Is it rechargeable for 50 years, or
it just works for 50 years. That's what's impressive about this idea, is that they've come up with the technology that can create electricity for a sustained period of time. There is no need for a charging infrastructure. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought you guys would find it interesting. I mean, if you look at how much we have invested in charging infrastructures in general, number of USB cables you have around your house,
and you can never find it, right?
Never.
What we'd be talking about is perpetually powered devices. I mean, if you had to die for 50 years, you're definitely replacing that phone before you're worried about the battery.
how about a car?
Yeah.
I have an older tablet, 6 or 7 years old. And I've noticed lately that when I'm charging it, it'll only go up to like 75%. Is that the battery just?
More than likely, that's all about the battery. Yeah.
I thought it was the charger.
What kind of a tablet?
No. I doubt it.
What?
In here, I can find out.
Your loyal
if that's
fans
a
are
charger.
still here.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But
I'm going to bring up the last.
So far.
All right.
I'm listening.
Bill's listening.
Percentage left.
Fall is too. It's because you guys have magic balls, or you're into magic balls.
Magic balls.
The magic balls installed by drones may soon be revolutionizing the U.S. power grid,
what is it we use to find out our battery life?
or the health, battery health.
It's a website?
No, in the Macintosh, you go into the battery settings, and it'll have a setting there for battery health.
All I get is the percentage. It doesn't.
Battery percentage is on.
But you have health in there too.
Last 24 hours, last 10 days.
I could tell you if I wasn't.
I'm going to the bottom and there's, I thought it used to be in here.
It's in there.
Okay, I'm under battery and settings.
I'll ask Bart.
Yeah,
Bart's my go-to.
I don't remember exactly where it is, but it's in there.
So,
Unless they've done something in 17 and they've taken it out.
there's nothing.
Well,
I
we'll
used to have a battery health.
yeah.
Because I know that I used to, and they would tell me the maximum I would.
All right,
ever
now you
get
got me
was
Googling. Hold on a
80%.
second.
Yeah. And I
Battery
couldn't remember if it was a website.
health.
My iPad. Where was it?
Well, I can't tell you where it is in any given Android device because it seems like it's provided by the manufacturer. You'd probably install some third-party app that would tell you
Time for a new.
iPad storage.
health iOS 17. To learn how your iPad usage affects battery level. How do I check battery health on an iPad iOS 17? That's what you've got, right?
My iOS is. Okay, show us iPhone 2. This iPad. I open it up at the time. Apple ID. Only.
To see an
I'm
iPad's
having
battery
troubles with
health,
this,
open
with
settings. Oh,
definition.
wow. Listen to this. Settings,
Yes.
privacy and security,
Oh,
analytics and improvements, analytic data, and tap on latest analytics file. Then look for your value next to the maximum capacity percentage.
And this makes your life easier.
No,
Okay, I
no,
found
it was easy.
I
It
found the privacy and security, and that's as far as I got.
and then you analytics and
What it means is
improvements.
you're gonna die before you.
Ain't no analytics and improvements.
Analytic
Oh, got it.
analytic data.
Analytic
You don't want to
data,
see.
Tap on the latest analytics file.
aggregated discourse resources, and look through it.
Scott, thank you.
You're welcome, Irving. We'll see you next week.
Look at this fine print. Look at this. Okay, now
See you
where am I
guys.
supposed
God.
to find it? Oh my God. You won't believe this. Okay, this is my first file.
Oh,
Like a
look at
phone
that.
book.
This is the reason you can't find it on the pad.
Yes.
It's because it's exclusive to the iPhone.
Well, I went analytic data, improve serial dictation. It used to be under battery. I know it did.
Yeah, no, it is on the phone. It's under
on the
battery
phone.
on the phone. What this is saying is that on the iPad, it has not been included. It's a relatively new feature. And this is from November.
Okay.
So it's not hard to imagine that they still haven't added. But you can check it in that file. But you're supposed to look for the value next to maximum capacity percent and cycle count. Maximum capacity percent. So that's how high you can charge it compared relative to
Oh, okay.
a healthy battery. And then the cycle count is how many
times you
discharges and charges you've done, relatively speaking.
Our stats for Facebook.
All right. I guess we won't talk about magic balls
Sometimes-
until next
Magic
week.
balls? Never mind.
Never mind.
The-
I'm still
the
back.
magic
The way
ball.
Martin is interested.
Yeah.
Ray and I are still back on.
Oh, God.
Sorry, something was too
Take
small.
me back to 1967. I got it then.
All right. Well, our group has funneled out of here.
The mainstays are here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This
do we
arrangement-
still have anybody online? Have I lost
Yeah.
everybody that was online?
Yes.
Oh, I heard some.
I heard somebody.
I'm still here.
James.
James.
Oh, Jim is still with us.
Jim is still here. Hey,
All
this,
right.
this is what I'm getting from. Oh, can you see it? No, I guess not. It shows how my battery charges up to full. That's what.
Hold
it
on a
does
second, Jim.
I'm the one that's
On the iPad.
Let me see if I can get you on the screen here. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is your iPad.
Yeah, and see how there's a graph. It shows that it's charging up to 100%. I guess that's what they have instead of that.
Oh, yes.
thing we have
Yes,
on the
I've got
phone.
that.
Is there anything that shows the health of the
Last
battery though, like
charge to
percentage?
100% was at 770.
No, there's no. It says it goes up to 100%. Last charge to 100%. That's the first line in the report.
Screen on.
No, that's just in the customer service for the phone where it tells you what percentage the health your battery is at.
Hey Sid, what's your battery health show? The percentage?
On my phone?
Yeah, on your phone. Mine 7%.
Mine's at 81.
But the reason I ask is because I'm curious if yours is below 100. On that graph that Jim's showing us, does that go up to 100 still, even if your health is less than 100?
Yeah, I'm at
It does.
81% of the 100%. But you have to go through the the customer service app that's on your phone.
Mm.
And I don't know if they have that for the iPad. I haven't looked.
I got to go grab my iPhone because I'm sure it's just on the iPhone. It's just
I
there,
think it's
battery
time to
health.
go.
It is. On the iPhone.
No, it's not. It's you hook up with the app hooks with customer service, and they run a test on your battery over the line.
I think
You should.
you're describing an older way of doing it. Because I'm remembering what you're talking about, but I don't think that's the way it's working anymore.
Well, this is the app.
Charging. Maximum capacity 100.
Yeah, so on mine under battery health and charging shows the percentage of health in the battery.
And what does it say? 94?
It says 94.
Yeah, mine's 100.
And so then if I go to the battery levels, like what Jim was showing us, it still shows charging to 100%. So it's charging to 100% of 94% health.
Oh. And how would I find out what that health of the battery is? I have to phone someone, or
Well, on the iPhone, I guess they haven't provided on iPad yet. But on iPhone, there's one here that is an option for battery health. And when you go into it up here, it shows the battery health. And that's the percentage of health left in the battery from its original.
No.
And that changes that maximum capacity changes over the usage, the charging and discharging. Over time, the battery wears out. And so I only have a potential of 94% out of what was originally sold. This became a controversial issue back when it was discovered they were slowing down phones for older models. And so they've made it easily available on the phone, but it doesn't appear to be on the iPad. Guys, nobody's here anymore. I even took the camera that shows you nobody's here. I'm going to let you guys go.
Just while you're there, you see these little screens across the bottom?
Yes.
How do I get rid of those? Or
each one of those is a web page you have open.
How do I?
So I think you just have to close it. Can you grab it and toss it? Can you just and drag it up and out?
No, they disappeared. I just touch them and they disappear, but they come back every time I open up the computer.
Well, those are web pages, and so maybe you need to go into Safari and look at the different. Why am I frozen? I'm frozen.
I can hear you.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, something's gone weird over here on my end. But yeah,
No comment.
So I choose them one at a time and just close them.
Yeah, or you go into Safari and you should be able to see multiple tabs, and you want to close each one of those tabs in that mode.
Okay, well, I've done that all the way along and closed them, but they end up showing it like this at the bottom of the screen each time I come up, and then I just touch the screen and they all disappear. It all goes down to Safari and gone. It sort of goes, and then it turns into Safari and disappears.
So, and I don't have an iPad with me, but and I can't show you because nothing's working.
I know it's a little bit complicated at the end of the meeting, so just I'll
well, let's bring it up next week.
Okay. All right.
All right, Jim.
Thanks for this. Nice to see you, Sid. How's it cold up there? Or are you down south?
Oh yeah. No, I'm in Anchorage.
Yeah, we're below freezing here too. So.
Oh yeah, it's warmer here than it is where you're at.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're on the west coast, so it's not that cold, but it is a challenge for our heat pump. First winter we're here with a heat pump, so trying to get that organized.
Yeah, when I get down there, I'd love to talk to you about that.
The heat pump?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
all right, guys.
Amazing.
I gotta close this meeting.
Okay, au revoir.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, see you next week.
Until next Tuesday, tech on.
Take care.